Welcome into Outkick the Show. I am your fearless leader, Clay Travis. I appreciate all of you coming and hanging out, watching, listening, wherever you may be around this country, around this great world. I'm a little bit early today because I am going to go watch my middle son's Christmas show at his school. So I usually come on around 2:30-ish my time, 3:30 Eastern. Still will be on Lock It In later today, but a little bit early today, again, because I got the Christmas celebration to go hit for my 9-year-old. All right, bunch of different stories that I want to get to. To begin with, USC is an unmitigated disaster with the way they've handled this Clay Helton situation. They waited as long as they possibly could to verify that Urban Meyer, to verify that James Franklin, to verify probably that Matt Rule and Matt Campbell were not interested in their job, and they couldn't get deals worked out with them. And then yesterday afternoon, they came out and they said, oh, by the way, we love Clay Helton and we're committed to him forever. Now, I'm not a believer that social media always completely reflects what the larger universe of individuals is thinking. But I know a lot of USC fans, and they are all completely and totally furious over the decision to re-up with Clay Helton again. This is like a marriage that everybody expects to end in divorce, and now suddenly USC and Clay Helton have just renewed their vows. It doesn't make any sense at all the way this is breaking out. It's totally illogical in the grand scheme of things that Clay Helton is remaining as the coach. And so as you break this down, I believe that USC is in a tough spot, because why would you want to be an assistant coach with Clay Helton? Why would you want to be a recruit who signs with Clay Helton, given how unsteady his future is with USC? To me, USC has bungled it. Why did they hire a new AD? Why do they have a new president if they're not going to try to put the football program in better footing? Okay, here's the other issue. I spend enough time in LA to know how competitive the LA entertainment market is. You've got two brand new NFL teams opening up a brand new NFL stadium. You've got LeBron and Anthony Davis with the Lakers, Kawhi and Paul George with the Clippers. You have got the Dodgers, who are still a uniting force for the LA sports marketplace. USC needs somebody desperately to galvanize attention and cut through the noise, and they don't have it at all. It is, to me, a abject failure by USC with the decision that they made to keep Clay Helton. I'm not saying Clay Helton's a bad guy. I'm not saying he's a bad coach. None of that. I am saying that USC couldn't get a coach. They didn't manage to get it all done, and so as a result, they're sticking with somebody they aren't happy with. To me, that makes absolutely no sense. USC's recruiting class is a disaster. If you had a kid and that kid were being recruited by a lot of top programs, would you tell him to go to USC at this point? I wouldn't. I wouldn't tell him to go to USC at all. It doesn't make any sense because you don't have any faith that Clay Helton's going to be there. Now, next year they may be decent. Keaton Slovis, I think, is the real deal. He looks like a really solid quarterback for them. They may win 8 or 9 games again. And I just don't ever know when the Clay Helton-USC union is going to come to a close. I think this is a mess, and it's crazy. Cowboys are on the road tonight against the Bears. 2 6-6 teams, Thursday Night Football. I like the Bears, and I like the under in this game. To me, the question that you have to wonder about if you're a Dallas Cowboy fan is this. What in the world's going on? You don't really have a defined offensive identity because Zeke Elliott has vanished since he signed his contract extension. And I want you to think about this for a minute. I want you to think about this storyline in general. Find me a running back who has signed a big dollar contract and outperformed that big dollar contract. They almost don't exist. You sign a big contract, whether you're Todd Gurley, now whether you're Ezekiel Elliott, and most of the time, Chris Johnson back in the day with the Titans, most of the time you never live up to it. And so I think the Cowboys, in giving Ezekiel Elliott big money, they still haven't paid Amari Cooper. They still haven't paid Dak Prescott. I believe that they are in an identity crisis mode right now. They don't know whether they are a balanced offensive attack or if they're an offensive passing attack under Dak. I like the Bears to win this game. I hope the Bears win this game because I would love to see the fallout in Dallas if the Cowboys fall to 6-7. And I want to reiterate and continue to reinforce there's no way on earth to justify the NFC East getting a playoff spot and a home playoff game here right now. Right now, the San Francisco 49ers are the 5 seed, and they are 10-2, and they would be on the road against the 6-6 Dallas Cowboys. They need to make a smart decision here in the NFL at some point as part of the new collective bargaining agreement and do away with division champs automatically getting home playoff games and say a division champ can automatically get a playoff berth, but they shouldn't get to host a home playoff game. The top 4 teams in each conference should host a home playoff game. It's illogical to reward somebody who's a member of a crap division just because they happen to win a crap division. The Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles are crap teams right now. The Redskins and the Giants are even worse. So you should getting a home playoff game should be a big deal. Take the top 4 teams in each conference and give them home playoff games. This is not complicated. I don't even know necessarily if it makes sense to have divisions, but I do know that it's not complicated to say, okay, the 4 best teams should get to host home playoff games. And NFC East fans are like, why are you picking on us? Why are you picking on us? We're Cowboy fans. We're crying. Look, this is stupid whether it was the Carolina Panthers hosting a home playoff game with a losing record or whether it was the Seattle Seahawks hosting a home playoff game with a losing record. It doesn't make any sense to arbitrarily reward a team for geographically being located in what happens to be a crappy division. Do away with it. Do away with it. That doesn't make any sense at all, okay? Going forward. This Peloton ad. This Peloton ad has taken over social media, all right? And I say this as a guy who last year bought a Peloton for his wife for Christmas. I bought a Peloton for my wife for Christmas. She was ecstatic to see the Peloton. She thought it was a great present. I don't know how we've gotten into this universe where wanting your spouse to be fit and giving her something or him something that he wants is a bad thing, right? We've ended up in such a ridiculous position that people sit around all the time and they say, oh, you can't fat shame. Everybody should be body positive. Are you body positive when you die of a heart attack because you're fat and you didn't exercise? Are you body positive when you have youth diabetes because you haven't been eating healthy? We have so gone over the top on this body positivity ridiculousness, all right? Everybody needs to be more healthy. And if you study health at all, we could eliminate half of all of America's health bill if we eliminated obesity. Obesity is one of the biggest drags on American productivity in the country today. Everyone should try and be fit. And so being able to encourage people to be fit is a good thing. Like, I don't understand this ridiculousness of being triggered by the fact that somebody in your household is giving you a bike or a gym membership or any of these things. It doesn't make any sense to me. Like, body positivity is fine, but it ain't body positive when you drop dead of a heart attack at 45. It ain't body positive when you've got diabetes because of the way you've been eating and the way you've been acting at the age of 25. Body positivity runs into real health factual issues. And I think this is crazy. Also, this is also indicative of what social media does. Social media, it's amazing how everybody ends up with the same opinion. I watched this ad, big deal, not that big of a deal to me. I wouldn't have even reacted to it in any way, positive or negative. I will say my wife didn't record a year's worth of video messages thanking me for being such a great husband for getting her a Peloton. But this is an example of how social media is absurd. One person makes a joke, and then somebody else makes a joke, and then somebody else makes a joke, and it turns into a big mob of people all having the exact same opinion. The reality is, I think this works in Peloton's favor because I think there's tons of people out there who had no idea Peloton existed that now know it exists, think the blowback is crazy, and are going to be more likely to buy a Peloton this holiday shopping season. This is a crazy scenario, and I don't know how we ever got into a situation where giving your wife or your husband something that they liked or wanted for Christmas is a bad thing, but evidently that's where we are. Impeachment is continuing to roll, all right? Impeachment is continuing to roll on, and I just want to say this. I told you what was going to happen a couple of months ago. I said the Democratic House is going to impeach Donald Trump. The Republican Senate is not going to remove him from office. And then, boom, we're going to be on to the actual presidential election like 10 months later. There are votes being cast in 60 days in Iowa. I would tell you this right now. I think that people are underestimating Joe Biden and his strength with black voters right now. I'm not sure that Iowa's going to matter. I'm not sure that New Hampshire's going to matter in a big way, because I think Joe Biden is going to crush everybody in South Carolina and as they move into the more populous states. And this isn't being talked about enough, is Joe Biden's strength with black voters because of his association with Barack Obama and how popular Barack Obama remains with black voters. And I think this is going to continue to be an issue that's kind of under the radar. People aren't paying a lot of attention. Joe Biden may well be the nominee. If I were betting right now on, December 4th, who's going to be the Democratic nominee to run against Donald Trump, I'm picking Joe Biden. I think Obama is a strong draw still for a large portion of the Democratic electorate. I think they have fond memories of Joe Biden, and I think Joe Biden is going to be the nominee right now on December 4th. I will say this. Don't pay attention to impeachment. It's over. If you're really political and you want to get fired up, it's like watching a football game that you already know what the final score is going to be. And that's why I haven't hardly paid attention to it at all. If you told me what the score of a Super Bowl game was going to be, I would bet it like Biff back in Back to the Future 2, but I probably wouldn't sit and watch it because I'd already know how it's going to end. That's what I believe is the situation with impeachment right now. Finally, have you noticed a story that the media hasn't been all over yet, but that your boy here has been all over, and it's starting to pop in the larger universe? The NBA is tanking. Now, you can argue there's a lot of reasons why the NBA is tanking. Load management, the China situation, players and coaches constantly lecturing you about politics, the fact that LeBron James went to play for the Lakers and moved west. There are lots of reasons why the NBA is tanking, but this is a major issue. The NBA ratings right now are down more than the NFL ratings ever were, and now people are starting to make excuses. Adam Silver and Mark Cuban are blaming the fact that people are cutting cords. Here's the problem with that. Most of the people cutting cords are not sports fans. It's really only sports fans that are holding the cord together. And also, you made a decision to take money from cable companies in Turner and in ESPN in order to get your games on cable. You can't now complain about cable not being as strong when the reason why you made all the money that you did is because of the cable and satellite bundle. This is a mess, okay? I think the NBA needs to seriously address this like the NFL did. The NFL got woke and they started to go broke. And you know what the NFL did? They got back to meat and potatoes, went back to football, and got all the politics out of the game. It happened over the last 2 years. The NBA, if they were smart, would have a big meeting with all the players, and they would say, look, guys, whatever you want to do politics-wise is fine, but you're undercutting the overall brand of the NBA. The NBA's brand used to be, when it was the strongest, NBA action is fantastic. Did you know that the NBA ratings have dropped 50% since Michael Jordan retired? Everybody out there in the media wanted to argue, the NBA is going to catch up with the NFL. The NBA was closer to catching up with the NFL in the late 90s than it is now. The NFL ratings have surged since the late 90s. The NBA ratings have been cut in half. This is a major issue. The NBA, in my opinion, needs to look at what the NFL did. They need to stop being stupid and ban words like owner because of racial insensitivity. They need to stop trying to address transgender bathroom laws in North Carolina. They need to stop bending the knee to China and get back to just putting on a really good product on the court and stop worrying about everything else. This is a great example, by the way, of brands that overreact to what people say on social media and as a result end up undercutting their entire value of their brand. Don't listen to a tiny minority of people on social media. Twitter is a carnival funhouse mirror. It's great, but imagine if you tried to choose what you were eating or what you were wearing by standing in one of those funhouse mirrors that makes you look either taller or fatter or skinnier or whatever else it is. That's what social media is. Get woke and go broke. NBA is finding that out right now. I appreciate all of you. I got to get out and go to the Christmas party, the Christmas play at my third grader school. Appreciate all of you. DBAP unless you need to SBAP. I am Clay Travis. This has been Outkick the Show. I'll be live 4:30 Eastern, 3:30 Central, 2:30 Mountain, 1:30 Pacific on FS1, talking about a lot the Bears and the Cowboys game coming up, as well as the college football playoffs still coming. I love you. Kisses. See y'all tomorrow. Love you. Thank you.